Okay, welcome to the Squidzilla Inc. Round the Table podcast. Today with myself, Warhammer Rose, VulkanLifts, Green.Skull.Painting, and finally, Kitbashconverts. Today we're going to cover some of the updates really for this year, so from January to now, just some of the things we've been working on, some of the things we're looking forward to, and just generally kind of giving you a bit of a hobby update. So we'll probably start with VulkanLifts. Give us a little bit of a painting update. Obviously, this year's been massively turbulent for everybody. Probably really good for people in the hobby. You know, stay indoors, paint miniatures, wash brushes is probably what Boris said. Tell me, yeah, definitely, yeah. Tell us about your kind of your hobby updates up to now.
Up to now, well, we managed to get quite a lot done during lockdown. I think quite a lot of us did that as well. I managed to crack out most of my Kings of War army, which was really cool. So it's done over 100 miniatures for that. And I've been starting work back on my Minotaurs army as well. So I've been tidying up a lot of stuff and starting to paint new items for that as well. But I'm still quite far behind. My Indomitus stuff, some of it's still not done. So I'm quite far off from the Minotaurs. But I keep starting projects and not finishing, so I'll jump from one thing to the other. My most recent one that I've jumped to is the Carnival miniature.
Okay, yeah.
So recently I've got onto that, and we just started playing it, and it's really cool. So I've gone for the Doctor's faction on there, and I've just painted a crocodile.
Yeah, I saw that. There's some really cool miniatures in that range. I was having a look last night, trying not to delve into another hobby, but just having a look. Yeah, I know you were looking at some and you were like, don't do it, don't look.
I'll tell you about it.
Yeah.
It's really cool. It's got a really story-rich game. It's a skirmish game.
Yeah.
The cost of the game is really low as well. Although I have bought 4 box sets.
That's a wife alert, everybody. That is a wife alert.
Yeah. So I bought a couple of those, but I used some stuff. I sold some bits on eBay, and I had some money, so I bought some stuff. But I managed to get some of it built, and it's the Monstrous Menagerie Box set, which is like the Doctors have resurrected some of these zoo animals.
Okay, yeah.
So I've got a crocodile with it's had like loads of its body parts taken out and stuff, and things stuffed back in. And they've got like these glowy globe things.
Glowy globes?
Glow globes. They stick it into the animals and some of the madmen as well. So they use the madmen to source their magic.
Yeah.
So the madness of these people that they sort of, I think they cause the madness, then use them as batteries to fuel their magic.
Cool.
But they're controlling those animals in the same way. So I've got like a doctor with like a cattle prod.
Oh, yeah.
Master zoologist, which has got all sorts of cool stuff, and some of the weird and wonderful stuff.
Cool.
I had my first game of that as well, and that was really fun.
Yeah,
in
excellent.
Terms of painting, great. Like the crocodile was really fun. Going to greens, doing it. I did it as much as possible with my airbrush as well.
Okay, cool.
Set myself a little challenge to do that. So I was doing like the highlights, and I watched like all the Angel Geraldo's videos again just before I did it.
Just a little name drop there.
So I just watched like all of them, and it was like, I'm gonna do this. Like pump myself up, and it was just just doing little,
just little bits. It looks good. It looks good.
As much as possible, anyway.
Yeah.
You have to use your brush for some of it.
Of course, yeah.
Like details and stuff. So yeah, awesome fun, and I hope you guys do get some because it's sick.
Yeah, I've been looking at the Vatican lot.
Yeah.
Just because at first I was sort of like, oh, Vatican, that's going to be like boring, sort of Inquisition-y, but like not a cool one. And then I started reading, it's like, and they have magic, which is actually I'm like, hang on a minute, what? Twisted magic? Because then it turns out that they're more like the church in like Dark Souls, or like in the Castlevania, where all the church people, generally speaking, are actually devil worshippers, but they don't realise it. So they've got powers, but they're like all dark, sinister powers.
Yeah, no, I like that.
Like quite
all the
interesting.
magic comes from the rift in the sky that's opened up above Venice.
Yeah,
and some
which
people
apparently
can
is
see it,
mostly
some
their
people
fault.
can't. Yeah.
So yeah, that kind of speaks to me. And then the guild was, but then like, yeah, it's
the
sort of
guild are
like
really good.
they do look interesting. But is that what
That's what Julian's got.
Julian's got? Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a guild. He's gone for the prostitutes gang, which is quite interesting. He's added a few extras. He's added Baba Yaga to that as well.
Oh, Baba Yaga, nice.
So there's Baba Yaga there, Count Dracula, Vlad the Impaler.
Yeah.
Is present in it as well. The Strigoi, or a faction. So
it's quite a vast range.
yeah.
I was quite impressed. I quite like the shark miniature.
Yes.
Looks really cool.
Rasha.
Yeah, Rasha, yeah. And I was talking with somebody from the community last night, Jaggy, after we'd finished up, and we were looking through them, and he was like, "Oh, that would be really good as like a Chaos Spawn model." There was one that's got like some tentacles and stuff like that. It was like really cool.
He's got like squid arm.
Yeah, it looks really cool. Yeah, of course you are. But is that a palette cleanser for you? Because obviously I know you've obviously got a lot of 40k, and we play a lot of 40k. That's kind of a palette cleanser, I guess. Then
I need that sometimes. Yeah, it's been a nice palette cleanser, and I've been painting some terrain as well. Forgot to mention that I was painting the Venetian buildings.
Yeah.
From TT Combat, which is the manufacturer Carnival. And it's really good. I used the airbrushes a lot on that as well, and
yeah, you streamed it, didn't you?
6 of them to do.
Wow. Okay. So I thought it was just the one you had.
Nope. I got a lot to do. We want to get all the streets of Venice MDF as well. With like
nice. Yeah. No, that'd be cool.
Yeah, we've been playing it on a cardboard box, with, like drawing out the rivers on there.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Like a resin kind of poured river or something like that would be cool.
On like customizable tiles.
Yeah.
So you can move it around a bit.
Interesting. Cool.
That's the plan anyway. Take a couple of months, I think, to.
Yeah. Sounds good though. Like you say, as a palette cleanser. Interesting. You
a lot of painting this year for sure.
Yeah. I mean, obviously you've done a lot in lockdown as well. Obviously, when you had some time off in furlough, and you were streaming every day pretty much for 3 to 4 hours. So you got through a massive backlog of stuff. Yeah. Cool. No, that sounds good. We'll come back to you in a little bit. So, Green Skull, I can see you beavering away there. Talk us through your kind of your painting update so far.
Well, my painting update for the year has been a little bit hectic. Obviously, I'm a key worker.
Mm-hmm.
So, I haven't had any furlough time or time off. I did get isolated. I had to go into isolation because the wife had some symptoms. She didn't have anything. I was then hospitalised myself.
Yep.
Apparently not with the plague, but something that's more or less exactly like it in every single way. So I'm still recovering from that now.
Yeah.
Collapsed lung and all, which was fun. So my painting has pretty much only started to get back on track in the past couple of weeks. I think it was from Indomitus onwards that I've started to paint some stuff.
Yeah.
So currently I'm working on a infinity miniature, which is so tiny that me holding it to my face is just...
He's just got a really big face.
Big face. So yeah, I've been painting him. I've also got a on my desk to paint tonight. I've got a I want to say Blitzkrieg. It's a bolt action, German bolt action.
Okay, cool.
Because we got approached for a commission that we didn't take forward regarding some bolt action. And I thought to myself, well, I'll probably paint one anyway.
Yeah.
If we've got some people interested in that, we'll do that. I've done some filming with some. I've done some PDF tutorials for some terrain. So we did some oil wash tutorials and other bits and bobs. But my year's pretty much been taken up with hospital visits and needles.
But yeah, you managed to get a lot painted, though, haven't you?
I've probably painted 4 things, which for me is a lot, but for you guys not so much. I paint a very very different gear.
Yeah.
I did paint my Necron army. I painted
Yeah.
Quite army,
what I
yeah.
wanted.
Your Azure Knights.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I painted 500 points to them. And yeah, I'm taking a break from 40. I'm kind of taking a break from 40k because I've also bought these guys who I'm going to be doing soon.
Okay, Necromunda.
Because they're not 40k, but they are 40k.
It's like Games Workshop goes, oh, that's fine. Take a break from 40k. Let me introduce you to Necromunda.
Grimdark, and just go like the grim darker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure. I like the sound of Necromunda. I like the sound of any skirmish game. Skirmish games are definitely more my speed.
Hmm.
But I also like tanks. You don't get tanks in skirmish games.
No.
Unless you play World of Tanks. Or...
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
You just need a tank skirmish game. Yeah.
There is.
I get giant robots in Infinity, so that keeps me very happy. I do like my giant robots in Infinity. Infinity's had the new rules for N4 release, so I'm looking forward to getting some games in with that. I'm going to be painting up a Spetsnaz army for that, the Ariadne Russians.
Cool.
And so yeah, I've got like always, I've got loads of projects and stuff going on. How much I'll actually get done is another thing, but with the way things are at the moment, this is also flu season, which is a really big time for surgery.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like I get really short lulls where I can get stuff done, and then everything else is crazy, and I've kind of got so little energy. But you know, it's I can't wait for 2020 to be over.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are in that boat, but it's looking positive. I'm looking forward to. I'm kind of planning for next year. I'm planning out competition pieces for some competitions I want to enter. Iron Skull. I missed the deadline for. I think the next one is February, so I doubt I'm going to get something ready for then. But I'm going to have a look at the entries for this year and then have something planned for the year after.
Is that like a twice a year thing then, Iron Skull, or?
It's once every year that I can tell. They had the first one this year, and they had it in February, so just before lockdown.
Yeah.
Stuff kicked off.
Yeah.
But the next one obviously is going to be in February again. That's the plan.
Yeah.
I'll be interested to see like how they kind of go along. You know, I think there's going to be quite a few. I don't know how painting competitions are going to go. Because the general rule of thumb is that everyone can't display things all at once, and lots of people crowd around miniatures, and that's just not culture we're going to have anymore.
Yeah.
And
have you been to one like that previously?
I've been to a few painting competitions. There was one held in Crewe, which was for the UK garage scene. So it's lots of garage kits, which
yeah, not
Same what I thought. Like, music.
No, not your garage scene or garage music scene. Its garage kits are basically kind of homebrew sculpts of popular cult stuff. So I have up at the moment. I won't write them down. I'll destroy my room if I try and get them down.
We'll put a picture in there, guys.
I have a Batman and a Joker bust, and they're done at, I want to say 1/8. So they're massive. They're huge, but they're not sculpted by anyone related to DC at all. And they're sold as a fan-made, piece. So they're not licensed, in the same traditional way. And the UK Garage Expo and Crew, this is going back a few years, they had the same kind of multiple categories, people, one artist entering in 3 or 4 things into a category each. And really it was the judges would take a small amount of feedback from like the public, but generally go by their own, assessments of the miniatures.
Yeah.
Or all the pieces, because they're not all miniatures. Some of them were huge, some of them were like, table sized. And I know that that's really sad, but that culture's just going to go. I don't think that's going to be back for a long time, and that's fine. Just have to work out for the next fun thing.
Yeah, let's put like a queue, socially distanced queue, as you all.
I don't know how it'll work. I mean,
online. I mean, have you seen Armies on Parade? They're doing that online now as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
Maybe more competitions to switch over to an online format.
The one thing I despise the most about any painting competition is when they say, "Oh, this is an online vote." Right now, man. Because online votes are always about who has the most followers, who has the most friends, and who can basically rig votes.
Oh, I don't think they're doing it like an online vote. I think they're doing it in the sense that it's online submissions, but it's still judged the same way. But I know what you mean.
You do blind testing, so you don't know the names of.
Yeah.
I think the best way for it to happen would be if I was doing it. If I was planning when we played SquidCon, when SquidCon kicks off, hashtag 2021.
It's question mark.
SquidCon 2020 it got cancelled though because of COVID.
2025.
TBC.
If we were doing it at social distance, I would have each artist has an allocated time to drop off their miniature at the site. The miniatures are then photographed by a chosen professional who takes the best picture can of every single miniature in the same setting with the same backdrop and everything else, and the same lights and the same professional. Then the judges can individually come in and view each miniature as like a round table, completely social distance, and then those pictures can go up online, and then those pictures can go to people who maybe are isolating if they've got a judge that has to, if they've got somebody who just has to shield or whatever. And then when the public want to see them, they can log on. So those miniatures can be somewhere completely different. So having people crowd around those miniatures, you can have them, somewhere else. And then the miniatures you'd have on display throughout the convention, you just have socially staggered so that people can kind of, when they're waiting in queues and stuff, because they're going to be a big problem.
Yeah.
They've got something to look at. So instead of crowding around and creating a bottleneck, these are the things I think of.
Late at night. The queuing system.
The queuing system behind the new painting competition.
Yeah. You should be a COVID consultant.
Yeah,
people would pay money for that now.
I think anyone could be a COVID consultant as long as his name's not Boris Johnson.
Yeah, but that's the thing. That's the thing. You say that, and it's true. But you get like health and safety consultants who walk around and point out the most obvious things in the world, and you're like, well, yeah, we know that. That's why no one's died from it yet. And it's like, oh, well,
You never know. I love health and safety.
You can be that guy. You can be the COVID guy.
I don't want to be the guy in the yellow jacket going, you know what, that looks sharp, that could kill someone. It's a paintbrush. No, well, it's a paintbrush in your hands. It's a deadly weapon in the hands of a terrorist.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean,
make sure everything's pack tested first.
Yeah. Pack tested paintbrushes.
That tip is too sharp.
Electric paintbrush. That's a new invention.
Oh wow.
No, I've seen
electric dry brush, surely.
Where the furrow is, it was a motor, so it span around.
Right.
That's how paint works.
It's like a dry brush.
Yeah, that's what you need, yeah.
But it was like ridiculously fast, so all the paint went off the brush.
Flicks it. So you got the new Army Painter Masterclass dry brush, and just take that off, fit it on a drill bit.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh,
and then drop it on the floor.
Which is at 4,000 RPM at a time.
Sick dry brush skills.
Yeah, there we go.
My painting year has basically been sort of, I want to paint that. I mean, I painted a piece, when I came out of hospital, I painted a piece for a YouTuber who I happen to respect by the name of Jules. And I just, whilst I was in hospital, I watched quite a few of his videos and just found them quite uplifting in a really crappy time. And decided that I would show my appreciation because I knew he was a Warhammer fan by doing a miniature. I actually had it planned before I went into hospital, and I sent him a message saying, there might be a slight delay. I've just been rushed into hospital. It's like, dude, it's fine, don't worry. I was like, no, I'll get it done when I'm out. So one of my first posts when I was at hospital was me holding a box of Orc bikers. So I'm really happy that he got it. I'm really happy that he likes it. I'm hoping to challenge one of his team to a painting competition soon. A guy by the name of Murder Room Miniatures. Really nice guy, very, very funny Instagrammer. He's a big barbarian of a guy. I'm trying to think of an appropriate paint challenge for him. I think I might get some of the Squid team to join me on the challenge and maybe do it as a Squid v Live and Let's Dice challenge.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Speed painting stuff as well, because remember we did speed painting back in the day.
Yeah.
Do another speed paint challenge. I think there's an American pod.
Oh, and we've lost. So welcome to 2020. So we'll be back in a second, and we'll get Tom back. welcome back, VulkanLifts. So as we said, as you left, that is the technology we're dealing with right now. Is just everybody using the internet, things dropping
Or
out.
just die.
Yeah. So yeah, back to you, Green.Skull. I think you were just going to finish up on your update.
But yeah, basically, my update is don't go into hospital with a collapsed lung. Don't get a collapsed lung to begin with, if you can help it.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to next year's painting competitions and the stuff we've got planned with Squidzilla, and generally getting healthier.
Yeah.
And putting out a bit more of PDF content for the patrons, and yeah,
we've got some more of those.
I'm just kind of looking forward to the future, because at the moment things, I think we'd all agree that things are still a bit uncertain.
Yeah, for sure.
But we managed to get a lot painted.
Yeah.
I've gotten stuff painted. I wouldn't. Again, I've managed to get. I've changed the way I paint. So on certain things, I've not paid as much diligence and as much sort of technical ability on stuff, because it doesn't need it. The Necrons, they don't. You can paint them all non-metallic metal if you want, but that just sounds like pain.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've learned some stuff, and I've unlearned some bad habits, and
That's good. It sounds like a learning experience has been had anyway.
yeah.
Cool. I mean, Armies on Parade is something that I definitely want to attempt. Like, obviously, you all know me as #BattleReadyPainting, in just how I approach everything, which drives all these guys to insanity. Get it washed, get it on the table, throw some dice. But I would like to try and do some form of diorama for kind of this time next year, I guess. I've got some ideas, but we'll
Teach you the ways.
yes, come over to the dark side.
Entering it next year, I think, with my with one of my armies. I'll get one of them done.
Tell you what, I'll enter it with my Necromunda gang, and we'll all enter.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay. What for Armies on Parade? Is that like? I've seen it before. I've seen pictures of it before. Isn't that like where they've got 2,000 points or 40k, whatever?
No. So it's
There's a certain size base you've got to have it on.
they've tweaked it for this year as well. It's either a 2x2 board or the new minimum
Right.
size board.
And then your army can be anything as long as it fits on there.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
So I've literally
Pretty large, or you could go
pretty small.
cool diorama thing.
One thing that always seems to stand out are either incredibly well painted, specific, like lore-based armies. So if you've done Ultramarine Second Company to perfection, then that might be
Maybe not.
boom. Yeah, you've got all of the heroes, all the lore, all the little bits of stories that are all to do with that throughout time have all been brought together and built into this sort of. It doesn't even have to be a diorama, is what they say, because it's your army that but just done in such a way and presented in a way that makes you go, "That's a nice army." Equally so, really nice conversions work.
Yeah.
So one I remember seeing last year was someone had used the Gene Stealer cults as a sort of I don't know what you want to call it. They were made as, I can't remember whether they were made as AdMech or Imperial Guardsmen, but they were done in such a way that they kind of went like, it implied it was some sort of hazard world thing.
Yeah.
So wearing hazmat suits as well as other
things.
things. And I want to say that they were kind of like white and orange, but I can't remember now.
I think my mate was like, they're the Belter loaders.
Yeah, they looked a bit like
loaders.
Yeah.
From the Expanse.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah,
I mean, I've got
the
my
Belter
obviously I've
loaders.
got my squats and I've got my undead. So one of those guys.
Yeah.
You did your squats, I think that would do very well.
That would be cool. I've even seen one.
Afterwards.
Yeah, I've seen one which is just 2 miniatures. It's a Death Guard themed one. It's titled Echoes of the Future or Visions of the Past or something like that. Where it's just a 30k Death Guard Marine looking into a mirror. Obviously, there's some perspex involved, and you've got a 40k Death Guard Plague Marine on the other side. Looks fantastic.
Wow. That's so cool.
Yeah.
So
See,
cool.
I'd either do a Necromunda gang or I'd do a Deathwing Terminator squad, because the fun you can have with the Deathwing squad You know, you'd have your diorama with the belly of a Space Hulk, some Tyranids popping out or getting torched or whatever.
Yeah.
I think the Armies on Parade is more about how you choose to display the miniatures you paint.
Yeah.
More than in how they've been painted in some ways.
Mm.
There was one
Yeah.
guy who'd done like an orc. He won. He did like an orc motorcade parade. So he did like a road which went high from the top and then came down low as it sweeps towards the left.
Okay.
In the center there was like a NASCAR style announcer with a you know megahorn, bullhorn, sort of shouting at them all, and just had loads of bikes and just trikes and tracks and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that. So
That's cool.
Didn't really get sort of stared at. It was
the whole piece. Yeah.
That's like Speed Freaks as well. Like
Yeah.
quite themed.
Cool.
That's really awesome. All right.
So that leads us into Kitbash. Talk us through your year so far in miniatures. You know, obviously you've mentioned a couple already, but talk us through.
I mean, this year I have same sort of thing with everybody else. Obviously, COVID has put a spanner in the works with a lot of stuff, apart from the fact that I can remote work, so I've not stopped working. I'm one of the lucky few
Mhm.
people
Same.
who has not furloughed, and I've just carried on doing the same thing, which has meant that I've saved money. But then, by saving money, that means that I then have to spend it on gardens. So I mean, I built a fence in my garden.
Yeah.
I laid some patio, and so that's not miniature painting, but that's physically doing stuff. I've been doing a lot of work outside of things, like fixing my van and stuff like that. But painting wise, I've done sporadic miniatures, I guess. I set up my painting desk, which is where I am now.
Yes.
Which the amount of painting I have done since setting up this desk is more than I've done since the beginning of the year, and I only set this desk up like a month ago.
Yeah.
So in the last month, I've painted more than I had done previously. So I've been
So-
building things, lots of conversions. I've just
Yeah.
not got around to painting them. But I got a little airbrush. I set that up, and it worked so well. I went, "Oh my god, that's amazing!" Then it set on fire. But but the airbrush primer, the Vallejo stuff, you can paint on, you can brush on as well.
Yeah.
And it's perfectly smooth, even brushed on. This guy's done. Oops, this guy's done.
I did
And
this guy.
you can't even see it. You can't see him, right? But trust me, he's nice and smooth. There's no brush marks or anything on there, so you don't even need.
Question,
airbrush.
Christian.
Still gonna
How
get one.
did you blow up your airbrush? And in my mind, it's sort of playing out a bit like the IT crowd. Sets on fire.
That is exactly
It's
what
like
happened.
made in Britain or whatever.
I was just using it, and then I'm like, that's not the right kind of smell. Then it went,
Wow. Okay.
I will stop now. And then I stopped, and it didn't work again afterwards. So what I reckon is that I overstressed the pump, and if it was a proper mechanical pump, then it probably wouldn't have done that. But I suspect that it was some dodgy little impeller type thing. So it would suck through a consistent amount of air, but it's not the sort of thing that's designed to be run like that. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if it was a liquid impeller, and it should have been actually pumping fuel through or something like that.
Oh god. Okay.
But because they're not designed to run dry, and I reckon I'm not going to take it apart. Can't be bothered. It was one off Wish. My dad bought it me as sort of
I
like.
think that's probably why it overheated, because it was bought for your Wish there, mate.
It's probably like a $5 or something like that. But it gave me just enough of a taste.
Just a little bit.
To go and drop 300 quid on a new one. So I will be buying a compressor and all of that gubbins when I have the money. Painting wise, so like I painted a few of my Space Wolves. I painted one model out of the Inquisitors box.
One.
Which is a Blade Guard. I posted him recently. I think he's been on the
Yeah.
Instagram.
Yeah, he went up today. Yeah. Not today. Not to date the podcast, but today.
And then I've done some Ackerbots. I've painted those guys for my AdMech slots. Got some squads of intercessors, librarians. So yeah, I've been cracking on doing some. it's
you're jumping between projects a bit as well.
Yeah. Sort of, I'm in a position to crack on now and just get things
Yeah.
painted, basically, which is where I wasn't before. I was kind of sitting in that bit where, because I had to move all of my computer stuff,
Yeah.
bring my painting desk in, and then I'd be like, so it just got to the point where I was converting things more, so making more squats or making more Space Wolves, the army that I'm not supposed to be converting too much. Converting the heck.
You can't help yourself.
No, I can't.
No,
I
you
can't.
You
can't.
dirty pig.
I haven't picked up my undead again yet this year at all.
Okay.
Yeah, I forgot about them. Yeah.
So they need finishing. It's not like it's not a lack of sort of ideas and plans for them. They've just been sitting in the box. So I'm gonna get these Marines out of the way, and I'm gonna get the squats done, or I'm gonna get some of the squats done because more things keep appearing on my desk. And then there's a various few other things, but I'll go over them in a minute, I think. But yeah, so this year I got some things painted, got some things built. It was mainly more preparing
Yeah.
to paint than actually getting any painting done.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said about having a dedicated hobby space as well. You kind of picked on it, like, because you didn't have a dedicated area, you're having to move a load of stuff, and then that becomes a hassle, and then, like, if you...
More of a chore to
paint.
get ready to do a hobby.
If it's set up and ready to go, you can walk past it and you can go, oh, I can just jump straight in there.
Yeah.
Especially when you've got a wet palette as well,
Mhm.
and your colours are still fresh, you can just dive in.
Definitely.
You know,
Whenever I write, people ask me like, "What do I need to get started?" I'm always one of the first things I say is a desk.
Yeah.
Because you can paint on a tea tray, you can paint, on your lap, you can paint on the floor if you really want to. But if you want to get stuff done,
Yeah.
make an actual go of it, then you need to have a desk that you can then mount lights on. You need a desk that you can then, have your paints laid out in a particular. You need space to be able to get a big project done.
Yeah, definitely.
You need a space where you can have tools kept somewhere safe, brushes kept somewhere safe.
where
I saw
everything
someone-
is. Like,
exactly,
just where
I
it
saw
is.
one person who kept on cursing how his brushes were always like getting their tips bent and like they weren't holding their edge, and the bellies were getting cracked, and the furrows are coming off the handles. I'm like, dude, what are you doing with your brushes? Like, I keep this pencil case and they keep on getting broken. I'm like, don't keep
This guy said, does he have a cat or a dog, and they've got
Where's
access to it?
Spice jars. Spice jars.
Yeah.
Raincoat brushes fit perfectly in spice jars.
I would say
Tip
there's only two ways that a painting brush should ever be stored, and it is sideways or tip down.
Yeah.
Don't ever put no tip down.
That's where I put my dry brushes, and then the rest of it, I put mine in the army painted wet palette because it has that second layer.
It's got a drawer.
Yeah, so I stick all my good ones in there, and that's flat. What a wet palette.
Yeah, it is good. It is good.
I'm liking it.
And it...
Red Rat game's probably good, but I haven't had any experience with it.
You haven't got a brush
I like my
holder.
games on.
I could take that with me. It's got all of the brushes and it's got all your... You know what I mean? You could put all of it in one thing. You can take paints.
Any other bits for your painting update so far, Kitbash? I know you've said it's more building than painting as such, but...
I'm taking part in a little competition at the moment, which is on the hashtag Ianov4comp on Instagram. There's a few guys.
That's a mouthful.
Put that in the description.
Basically, there's a few people, and they've created this world of Ianov 4. I think it's for an Inquisitor 28 campaign that they're and they've gone, we want to populate this world with characters. So can you guys out there make a character, give us a little tiny bit of a backstory just to give us a taste of what the concept is, and then build it, paint it, present it at the end. The winner gets 40 quid's worth of vouchers.
Nice.
There's 4 runner-ups, I think, and everyone gets something. But it's just a little bit of fun. I got a few spare parts, some AdMech ones, so I'm doing it. And the whole thing needs to be. You see, it's miles away. Yeah, it needs to be
Blanchard too.
Blanchard too. So It's got to
Have you
be
got any pictures up on the Squid
beige
Instagram?
colours. I haven't yet. They're on my Instagram though.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw a. I kind of want to restrict putting like my completed stuff onto the Squid because
Yeah.
then I'm not spamming it because I was posting like 4 pictures a day of him while I was painting last week. So I didn't want to just go here, have all of this. Here's 16 pictures to put up.
That's what I'm trying to do, but I've just not finished anything. Keep jumping between stuff.
When he's done, he'll be on there. I've also picked up this. Well, I'm currently painting my demon host, dwarf squat demon host, but I've picked up a Kingdom Death monk, which I thought was going to be like a 54mm model. I didn't read the size of it. It's bigger proportioned than 40k stuff, but it's
32
more
mil.
fine detail. That like her legs are so thin.
Yeah.
She's this busty wench.
Yeah.
You can barely see her. This little thing there.
I thought they were slightly bigger scale. Because
No,
I've seen the caster
they are,
guy.
but they are. But I think if you pick up a pin-up female one, it's going to be very, very thin waist, big hips, boobs, tiny legs. That's what she is. Her head's tiny, but like the head scale compared to 40k head scale, it's like half the size of the head, but the body is twice the height of a. She's
Yeah.
height of a Space Marine, but her head's tinier. So it's kind of the scale proportion is more realistic. But yeah, it's a tiny paintbrush thing. It's a 0, you know.
So that's your challenge, is it?
Yeah, and I'm gonna try and do it in non-metal metal as well.
Oosh.
Hold on, mate.
I would argue that like I've tried to do non-metallic metal on a 40k miniature, and it's just I can't do it at the moment. I tried to do it on this guy, who's the Infinity miniature, and I got far quicker through it because the shoulder pad here, which you can't see at all, I'm sorry, it is on Instagram. It's probably like half the size of my little fingernail. It's so small.
Yeah.
That, you know, the amount of space you have to blend is tiny. I mean, getting the blend right is harder, but the actual amount of time you have to spend, you know, doing the blend is like far shorter.
Yeah.
If you do it wrong, it's a case of one sweep of the brush and you've erased it, and you can start again with a really smooth.
Yeah.
I've set myself a challenge with that. I'll quickly show you guys.
Yeah. Oh, as he just trashes his office.
Other than that, painting wise, just trying to get through my back catalogue, same as everybody else's.
Yeah, definitely.
But my back catalogue still needs building for the most part because it's conversions.
While Tom finds his thing, I have said this on stream, and I've said this in chat, and this is the thing. This is the truth. This is my truth.
This is the gospel.
I am not. Oh yeah.
Oh, from Dark Souls.
Smoke and Ornstein. I know he's got a droopy hammer, but I need to like bend that back.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna do Ornstein, and I said I'm gonna do it in all non-metallic metal.
I remember you saying that about 6 months ago.
I've not even started him or even primed him.
Those Dark Souls miniatures look more about the size that I thought the Kingdom Death one was going to be.
Yeah.
They are massive.
Yep.
Like,
I wouldn't mind picking up a like a Vort of the Boreal Valley or something like that.
Yeah.
like Carnivale Alchemist.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like that big in comparison in game though. So
Yeah, this is true. Yeah.
He's a beast.
I've got his armor now as well in Dark Souls 3. So.
Ooh.
One of my favourites, mate. He's probably my favourite boss fight.
Nice.
Yeah,
I,
we digress.
I need to do that. Yeah, that's another thing.
Sweet.
Back into gaming again.
Yeah. Just back to you, Green.Skull. You were just saying then, as Tom was just grabbing those.
Yeah.
I have officially reached a back catalogue critical mass.
Okay. DEFCON 5.
I am not buying any more miniatures until I have painted a substantial amount of what I've got left here.
You heard it here first.
I've either got to sell it or I've got to paint it before. I'll probably have to sell it, paint it and sell it. I've got, up above my head alone, I've got 30, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. Probably 70 miniatures.
Ooh.
Damn.
including the 30 or so that you get for the Indomitus side of the Space Marines, plus the other 20, 30 that I've got for various other projects, plus the 20 or 30 for the Infinity stuff I've picked up. I need to start clearing stuff.
I sold loads of mine on eBay, as you know, like just can't look at it anymore, or it's stuff that I've just not used in years.
Yeah.
I think wargamers are inherently hoarders.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty good hypothesis.
It's very accurate, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that as well. I think
want it all, don't we?
I think all of us. The worst thing is that I'm saying I'm not buying any more miniatures, and I'm keeping to that. But I know that other people are going to buy me miniatures, and I've got some on order that haven't come in.
Is that a loophole? Is that how you're getting around it?
Yeah. I don't need to buy any more miniatures because I know I've got at least 5 sets coming.
Sell something on eBay and make you feel better about yourself.
Yeah.
No, I won't, because then I'll be like the worst. I think one of the worst things for hobbyists, and this is wargamers, this is scale modelers, this is the garage kit people, is that once you've been doing this for about, I'd say 3 or 4 years, you are acutely aware that there is stuff that comes out and then disappears forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
And when you know that, when you have that fear in you, that I quite like that. Like for example, I've got above my head, I've got a black dragon. I don't have a dark elf army. I never want to have a dark elf army, but I've always wanted a black dragon. And when GW started killing off a lot of their Warhammer Fantasy older kits, I was like, I've got to buy one.
Yeah.
And I'll probably, if I can pick up a second one, I probably will.
Yeah, I've got the Forest Dragon, same sort of thing.
Yeah,
when I saw it in the shop, it was saying it was basically a clearance sale. So I went, I'll have that.
Yeah.
And I got it, I built it, I painted it, I've lost a foot.
You've used it? Like you played it in game?
I used it, I did. Emailed GW, said, have you got any more feet? No, we don't even have the kit anymore.
Do you remember when GW had actual parts on a magazine?
Yeah. That was
wow, really?
Yeah.
That was one of my favourite things.
It's like an order-only thing.
That's cool.
There's a kit from Malifaux that I always wanted, and it was called the Dreamer. And you can still buy him, but you can only buy his new version where he's like a teenager. He used to this really cool miniature where he was like a little boy carrying a teddy bear.
Yeah.
And then he could transform himself into this huge monstrosity that he called Lord Chompy Bits.
Lord Chompy Bits. Yeah.
I really wanted that kit, but I was always like, yeah, I'm not playing Malifaux, so I don't want it now. And like all of the other miniatures in that box, I wasn't particularly fussed with. They've since stopped doing that kit. You can't buy it anywhere. If you want to buy it, it's $2,000 on Amazon.
What?
Because it's such an iconic kit, and not many people bought it because it wasn't he was really strong. So like on eBay, all the other parts of the miniature they're going cheap.
Yeah.
But him and Lord Chompy Bits are stupidly expensive.
Christian, just to tempt you very further.
Oh, here we go.
See this chap here. This is the Doctor of the Mind, and I'll send you a picture later. But he would be sick if you converted him into a Mechanicus priest.
He's the yes. He comes with is it like the Transcendent or something like that? I can't remember what the little kit's called. There's a few other people with him, isn't there?
He's got some madmen, a warden, and some nurses.
Yeah.
They're like proper
I was looking at it and thinking it just looks like quite. Yeah, the nurses are all a bit like. Yeah.
That's it.
I was looking at
that because you were like Blanchitsu, and I was like, that's bang on the money. Like, you know.
It's. I mean, I don't know why I'm denying it. I will end up with some of them at some point.
Of course you will.
I have a Plague Doctor somewhere. I picked him up at a convention exclusive.
He's awesome. Is that special, like a special version of him?
It's supposed to be, but the thing is he was meant to be carrying this little knife.
Yeah.
But the sculpt was so bad that the knife just you can't see it. It looks like his hand is just fat at the bottom, like it's got a growth.
Yeah. It's like scalpel, isn't it? Like a tiny knife.
It's way too small of a part. What they should have had is his hand like closer to his chest and have the scalpel like as an actual extruded part on his chest, not an actual separate part of the gap.
Yeah.
And it was using an older rubbery plastic not the resin that they're like. Their resin's really good, but the more rubbery plastic. And I think the only reason why it was a convention exclusive is they're just trying to get rid of that particular sculpture.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, they've been given a few away, and some of them you can't. They've got stats for them, and you can't even get them. Like they're impossible to get. I mean, if in the new, does anybody subscribe to that War Games Illustrated magazine?
No, but I've got the odd copy though.
Is that the same as Sports Illustrated, but for war games?
But yeah, it's basically porn for hobbyists. But there is an exclusive TT Combat sculpt in there, which looks really cool. And I think it's like a lady, like a noble lady with a pistol, and she's got like a big billowing dress. But I think that'd be quite a really cool miniature to paint, just to have to paint, you know.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I think it's probably time for me to go through my update, I guess.
Yeah.
So, what have I done? So yeah, it's been a mad one. So obviously all the things you've already talked about that everybody knows is going on and still going on. But I guess for me, I did a New Year's hobby resolutions 2020 for myself at the start. Well, I think it was December 31st I wrote it. But basically it was a handful of 10 things. I'll put it up on the screen. Can't remember them off the top of my head now, of things I want to achieve this year. And it was things like make my tabletopper for playing games at home, paint terrain, paint more Ultramarines, start a slow grow army, which are, things I'm taking off. Contribute at the time to a friend's YouTube channel, which was Squidzilla at the time, and obviously a couple of months down the line, here I am.
Here you are.
Tick that one off. Infiltrated and made my way in. So obviously, yeah, joining. I mean, I would regularly paint anyway. Squidzilla has just given me the opportunity to sanction more time to paint, if that makes sense. Like, because I'm carving out time to either stream, I'm carving out time to record, battle reports and other different things that we've got coming up. So, Slow Grow Sisters Army. So that all started with Tom. So VulkanLifts sending me a cheeky little message one day going, we've got some of those White Sisters boxes in. Do you want one? And I was like, yeah, go on. I'll have one. So I got one. And then that was in December, I think it was. And then lockdown happened, and I was like, well, this is kind of the perfect opportunity to start a new army. So I've not strayed into Chaos or Xenos. So Ultramarines, because I got into the hobby in 8th. Shot the Space Marine half of a friend's Dark Imperium box. Painted them as Ultramarines because at the time I was like, oh, it's only Ultramarines, surely. They're the dudes on the box. I obviously know now that there's a couple more chapters of Space Marines.
You hit the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, literally, yeah.
You got lost under it.
Definitely, yeah. And hit it hard as well. So, yeah, it was... So, Sisters, so I decided to go Our Martyred Lady. So the classic kind of black armour, red cloaks, white hair. Decided I wanted to try something new. So I wanted to try contrast paints. So I dropped a ton on, just shy of a ton, on contrast paints. And doing the scheme in that. I wanted to do something new in regards to bases. So I picked up a green stuff roller and did some milliput bases. Now I've... Yeah, it's been super varied. What else have I done? Oh god, obviously painted a load of stuff. Yeah,
you really pushed your boat out. Like you've done so much different stuff this year.
Still not done any highlights though. I'm watching you. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Painted up terrain, so the Sector Imperialis terrain. I've still got quite a bit of that in the garage that I need to do. I've obviously bought the not Dark Imperium. That was an addition ago. Got the Indomitus box. So I was fastest finger first for Goblin Gaming. So if you don't know and you've not watched our streams, they're our preferred supplier. So if you like to buy any hobby stuff, whether it be Carnivale, whether it be Infinity, 40k, Necromunda, any of the bits we talked about, or even if it's just those crazy brushes without the electric drill attached to them.
Glass brushes.
Yeah.
They're fantastic. Love them a lot.
check out our link in the description. I will be picking some of those up myself because I want to do some more terrain. And the dry brushes I've got are a bit subpar now, so I think picking some of those up will be good.
I've actually done I might have done a bit of filming in relation to those, so there should be something.
Ooh, we'll look out for that. So yeah, Indomitus box. I painted all of that Space Marine side, obviously, not the Necron side. Bar the Judicar and the Chaplain now. So I set myself a 2K list, painted that, which was a great kind of challenge. Obviously played a couple of battle reports, which you'll see in the future. I had a blast, but now I kind of need a bit of a palette cleanser. You know, I love painting blue, but there's so much blue you can paint. And where we are now, there's a lot more Space Marine stuff coming down the pipe, and I guess as a Space Marine player, yeah, I'm excited, but I'm also a bit like, ugh. I've just bought a load of new stuff. Now, what has to make way for the Mario Kart thing and the Chaplain on a bike and all the other things that are coming down the line? What has to be moved out of the regular rotation? Probably one less Repulsor Executioner, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
You know, just to make
2 or 3.
I got 2 in the list that I've been running recently.
How many do you own?
2 and 1 Repulsor. Yeah, I have a lot in points. It's embarrassing. But then I've also, like, when I did the Knight battle report, I was like, oh, I do really enjoy Knight, so I've picked up another mid-sized Knight. So I'm having fun this week, just been magnetising weapons and building weapons, and I'll be painting him on stream soon and some more terrain, and then I'll have to get back into my sisters and get that stuff done, because there's more models coming out for that as well. Yeah, there's a model called the Palatine. She's essentially going to be a lieutenant in regards to her role. So Sisters of Battle don't have any way to reroll wounds of 1 unless you are our martyred lady and you have Judith, the one in the bathtub, the floating bathtub.
Yeah.
So Judith Eruda. So yeah, it's been a crazy 9 months. Like as we talk now, I picked up the Librarian Terminator, Lexicon and Varus, the guy with no neck, as a special buy from Games Workshop. That took like 4 months to turn up. I got the Sister of Battle with him as well. So I've got, for the first time ever, I've got a cupboard of stuff above me that's still in box and still on the sprue, and that's a bit unnerving for me because I like to kind of get stuff built, get stuff painted, and get it on the table. I am, yeah, and it's really weird. But I'm sure I'll get through that. Yeah, definitely.
I found that if you continually feed the grey beast, it keeps it appeased, and then it doesn't.
It's true.
Interesting.
It's retail therapy as well, bro.
Yeah.
I keep empty sprue near me just so it looks like I've got more than I actually have.
Okay.
And it doesn't question. Yeah. It doesn't make me buy more because I look over and go, oh, I've got the big pile of sprue over there to paint.
And it's just sprue. It's just your bits box.
But don't you know that you've done that?
I forget.
Are you just trying to
amnesia?
Just put it there.
Same thing. I've got a box full of empty sprues, and the reason why I've got them is because I've been telling myself for years that I'm going to turn this into a sprue dice tower.
Yeah. So looking at it, I go, that could go for scenery.
Yeah.
Is that your favourite project of 2020 then?
What? Building a
sprue
something
tower?
out of sprue.
Yeah. Sprue crumbs. Sprue terrain.
Yeah, I've actually had to stop that particular project because the box I've been keeping the sprues in is now full and spilling everywhere.
That kind of segues us in nicely. So I guess a quick fire round of favourite project of 2020. Who would like to kick off?
I could go first if you want.
Yeah, go on. What's your favourite project of 2020 so far?
The Trebuchet.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that was good.
That was so much fun.
Yeah, that was good.
Little mini diorama.
It is, yeah, it is actually, yeah, because of how Kings of War kind of played out. You have that kind of, I guess, liberty to do that. Yeah.
Do what you want. Like, I think he's not on the right base for what it's meant to be, but
okay.
I don't care.
Yeah.
It's a giant trebuchet. It's got 3 guys on the base operating it. It's great.
It's great.
I learned a lot about wood, painting wood.
I learned a lot about wood.
Yeah, it was great.
I love it.
It was a Gondor trebuchet that was fine cast, and that was had to like bend that into shape and all sorts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting. I think that's the first time I've tried to do like a diorama style model as well.
Yeah.
That's the first time I've ever done it. So I've learned quite a bit. That's probably why it's my favourite.
Yeah.
Trebuchets are really cool.
Yeah, this is true.
Best form of transport.
Transport.
I love it. Green Skull.
Yeah,
I'd love to see you at like a bus stop. Hey Doris, I know you've got a free bus pass, but try out this trebuchet. And like
Whip
number
it
2 bus
out.
comes along, is like, not today, Timothy. I'm taking the trebuchet.
We'll take up the entire bus lane.
Yeah.
Trebuchet.
Just give me 2 days to set it up.
Yeah. Team of workers setting up the trebuchet.
Awesome.
This old lady to the shops.
Surely the only place that the trebuchet delivers to is that way.
Yeah.
Where are you going? Over there.
That way.
Over
Yeah.
the horizon, that way.
Do you
What,
want
so?
to- Do you want to get there extremely fast? Well, try the trebuchet.
Yeah.
Next stop, anywhere. Cool. Green Skull, what is your favourite project of 2020 so far?
Well, apart from dropping a leg on my foot, I think it's probably split between 3. I know that sounds like a bit of a cop out.
Yeah, it totally is.
It's either the Orc War Biker I did for Jules, because
Yes.
a milestone project for me. It's the first one at the hospital. I was really happy with it. It got a really big reaction on Instagram, which was a massive feel good hit when I needed it.
Yeah.
The Infinity guy I've just done.
Mhm.
He's actually for a friend's Starfinder campaign that I hope someone getting back into RPG role playing games, RPGs.
Mhm.
And what was the third one? It's the PDF stuff. I know it was the White Scar. The White Scar.
Oh yeah, the giveaway, yeah.
Really liked him
we,
as well.
we did a competition. But because of the way the climate was at the time, the guy who won the competition, I posted it to him. He told me that he got it. I was like, "Oh, do you like it?" He's like, "I don't know." What do you mean you don't know? I was like, "You said you've got it." He's like, "Yeah, I've got it. I'm like, but what do you mean you don't know? It's like, "Oh no, I'm shielding. I can't go anywhere near the parcel." It's
Oh no.
Oh.
Wargaming Dad, it was.
Yeah.
Wargaming Dad from Twitch.
Let me know how it goes. And like 3 weeks had passed because he was being really careful, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, "I really like it." I was like what? Oh yeah.
Who are you?
Who is this? Wrong number.
When if you hear this Wargaming Guide, come say hi on a Twitch stream.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been ages.
I assume he
Good
likes
job.
it. I mean, he said
Yeah.
he showed me where he put it, but he hasn't shown me where he put it, so maybe he's put it somewhere I don't want to see. Yeah, those 3 projects. I mean, I think personally, like the next project I finish is always my favorite.
Yeah.
I mean, I always try and push that a little bit harder. So that's why I take so much time. That's why I love. Like, if you'd asked me a couple of weeks ago, it would have been a Toto, the Malifaux character I did, and
You did a cracking job on him as well.
every
So.
single time you go back, it'll be the model I just finished then.
Yeah.
That's how I work.
I don't know.
Just got Africa stuck in my head now.
Yeah, thanks.
I love painting the crocodile
Mhm.
because it's different, but the trebuchet still.
Still a standout for you, yeah.
Loving that trebuchet.
You know what I mean? It's a goddamn
That's just because
trebuchet.
you want it as a mode of transport. That's not because you like the miniature.
Or
It's a great
trebuchet.
miniature.
This car is
Yeah.
terrible. This car only transports me in like multiple directions. Trebuchet, on the other hand, goes up and across
And across, yeah.
and across.
1 out of 10 for comfort though.
You've got to pick one though, John.
Yeah, come on.
You've got 3 choices.
All right, okay. Between the 3, I'd have to say it's the War Biker.
Yeah, that would be my vote for sure.
I would have agreed. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's. I can't. I think something we would probably, as a group, we would all say is that the staff of the NHS at the moment are superheroes in civilian clothes. They are
Mhm.
amazing. The things that I saw whilst I was in hospital were terrifying. They will stay with me for a very, very long time. I wasn't on a COVID ward,
Yeah.
but I got to witness all of the sort of overflow and backlash of that, all the stuff that was
craziness.
all of the craziness, and the nurses came to work with smiles.
Yeah.
And the doctors saw
Yeah.
me most days. You know, I can't fault anything, but it was still a really terrifying. I was told I had a 1 in 5 chance of dying at one point. So when you've got a wife and a small child at home, that's not what you want to hear at 34. I don't think it's what you want to hear at 35 or any other year. But coming out and getting that miniature done for somebody who'd already helped pick me up and already made a really positive impact. He's basically, if you haven't seen it already, Jules used to be, I think he is still part of What Culture, but he does like the top 10 hardest bosses to beat in video games. But at the end of a lot of his videos, he'll put on a very positive mental health image or message. So like for the top 10 hardest bosses, it's, you know, when we come up against hard bosses, we learn and we adapt and we try again. And when things like that happen in life, you've got to not beat yourself up. You can't be too hard on yourself. And I think that's so important nowadays. So I thought that needed to be
Yeah, it's a great message.
Yeah, definitely.
Great message, and it's made you produce some of your best work.
Yeah, I think it's nice to have something to push towards.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
Right.
Cool. Yeah, come on, Christian.
Me? I again.
There we go.
One of a few. Project-wise, I'm really happy with like the direction my squat Inquisitors went. My Eisenhorn and my Hector Rex, who now has his legs glued back together after a little tiny accident he had.
Hector legs, more like.
Bit gutted that Hector has been removed from active play at the moment until he gets updated rules, if he does get updated rules. But Eisenhorn is going to fill the gap, and that's why I'm painting his Demon Host at the moment. But I just loved building them. Old dwarf models from old world fantasy, and then just with Eisenhorn, I got a picture of Eisenhorn and I just went through and just went, right, he needs his staff, he needs a book, he needs his little backpack, he needs a sword, he needs a gun, and he needs a crew cut, because that's Eisenhorn that I'm going for, the young Eisenhorn. So do that, find all the pieces. Dwarf Blood Bowl team, fantastic heads, beards for days. And they look brilliant on the old models. And then the same thing with Hector. Hector's this just mad bastard with a shield and a sword. So find the relevant dwarf model, all of them, and then just pick one that fits the bill. And painting them was a joy, because there's no, the scheme is set, but it's not.
Oh,
we lost Tom again.
Oh, and he switched. That's okay. That's okay. Oh, there we go. He's coming back. There he is.
Dropping out again.
Yeah. You're back.
I think you're
Sabotage.
Hector.
Sabotage.
Rex. That's what we want, wasn't it? Hector Rex. Mad bastard sword board. Painting them is fun, because it was the scheme is only set to them.
Yeah.
So Hector wears kind of a cream armor with silver filigree on it, whereas Eisenhorn's wearing green shoulder pads. He has a red cloak and he has a bit of white and stuff on there. So like, it's unique specifically to the model.
Yeah.
But it still fits with the overall theme of the army, which I thought I've really enjoyed painting them. That was really fun. So I think after I've thinned down some things, I'll be bringing more Inquisitor sort of Ink 28 type things and do some warbands in there.
Nice.
Or, you know, try and encourage everybody else to play something. But I am torn between them and something I've not painted yet, but that is thoroughly enjoyable to build, which is my Space Wolf Chapter Master.
Yeah.
Which I've not really shown anyone. Patreons have seen him a little bit. I've got some more to show, but he's almost finished, so I will be painting him soon. And that is either going to be an absolute nightmare, because I'm torn between painting him as a Space Wolf, just because, or painting him with the green and brown, or painting him in the black, a la the Blade Guard, because of the veteran status. He's a great wolf their Great Wolf, their Wolf Guard. He's technically a Wolf Guard. He buffs Wolf Guard, so therefore he should be a Wolf Guard color, meaning he should be black because that's what color my Wolf Guards are. So, but I'm not painting him yet.
Yeah.
I think he'll
The
be your
Inquisitors, I
favourite.
think, is
But
my.
what is
It
your
will be the Inquisitors.
Yeah, I think I'd go.
Eisenhorn?
Eisenhorn is Eisenhorn's my favourite
Yeah.
one that I painted just because I
Inquity
got
Squatty
to use
Thorn.
turquoise on him, and I've not painted the turquoise green color on anything else, and it was lovely to paint it.
Turquoise is
So,
a
yeah,
great colour
Eisenhorn.
to paint. What about you, John?
So I think mine's a double. So it's one thing. So I'm sticking to the script.
I get called for a cop out, and yours really kind of like two things. That's not going to agree.
So it's one thing. It's my favourite project, and it's also probably the most difficult. So that's the segue into the next one as well. For me, it's going to be the Exorcist Tank. So the new sculpt for the Sister Battle. That thing has got more ornate bells and whistles on it than my nan's house. Do you know what I mean? There are so many trinkets in there, and I think I found exactly. You never met her. There was trinkets upon trinkets. I thought I'd done it all, and then I found more.
It's like you turn the miniature around.
Yeah. Yeah, literally, yeah. Never in a miniature did I ever paint piano keys, stain wood, because it's got like wood paneling on the back, so I used contrast paints to sit in that, and that worked perfectly. It's a rhino with an organ on the back. It's got some cherubs and some really cool stuff, but it's just
the most 40k thing.
Gold filigree didn't you as well?
Yeah, and I've got 2 more to do as well.
It's like if somebody says to me miniature filigree, I'm like, no, can't.
I think
No.
one day John's just gonna go, boys.
But and that took me about 20 hours on stream. So I did it all exclusively on stream.
Yeah.
And I've got 3 immolators to do as well. And obviously they have a little bit of stained glass, which Games Workshop have released a little tutorial for that on how they did it.
So good.
And I was like, I could do that.
So good. Yeah.
You know, a bit of essentially Munitor and varnish, contrast paints, and then I think it was Black Templar for the like the lead. If you're going like traditional, so I was like, I think I can do that. So I'm going to try that. But yeah, it's my favourite and also most difficult this year.
It looks great though.
Yeah, no, I'm really happy with it. And because I was playing James at the weekend and he had his sisters, and I was like, oh, I should really get my sisters back out because I really enjoyed them. I've got Ephriel Stern and the other guy. He's Xenos, we don't talk about him. So I want to get her built up and maybe get her into a list and get them back on the table because they're really fun to play for, you know, kind of crazy zealot nuns with guns. So yeah, that was my favourite and most difficult. So swinging back to you guys, what was your either hardest or most difficult mini this year?
I can start that one super easy.
Go on.
It was the White Scarf because
Yeah.
Because I was ill at the time, if memory serves.
I think so, yeah.
I didn't realise it at the time, but I had fluid on the lung, and my lung was slowly collapsing. And I generally felt rubbish. And to anyone watching, one of the ways I paint miniatures and keep my miniatures safe is I hit them with some very heavy alcohol-based thinners and washes so that they are actually disinfected. Because you just can't be too careful. I can't take my son picking one up and taking any risks. But when that competition was announced, it was a challenge to myself because I didn't paint Space Marines before then. I think I'd painted maybe 2 Primaris before then.
Yeah.
And then someone, oh yeah, you know how you really hate painting white? We want a white scarf.
White. I can't remember how the challenge came about, to be honest.
Yeah.
It just happened on
said,
stream or something.
I said, oh, has anyone got any like Primaris transfer sheets? This guy, and they're like, oh no, you have to buy them separately. I was like, oh, so I have to freehand a whole lot of lightning bolts all over this guy, and they're like,
Yeah.
I was like, oh right,
Freehand?
And you nailed it.
could someone not have told me this beforehand? They're like, "No, just crack on. This guy's waiting for his miniature now because he's won a competition." I'm like, right. So it was kind of I couldn't just be like, you know what, guys, I'm not feeling it. And I want to move on to something else, or I want to abandon this project and do something different. It was a case of no, this guy's waiting for it now, and
Yeah.
waiting for it, and then had it sat outside his house for 3 weeks.
Mhm.
I was like, okay, I felt like I did okay. But yes, that was probably my hardest miniature because of where I was personally,
Yeah.
the theme, and what was asked of me, and everything else. So it was,
A triple threat, yeah.
Yeah.
so if someone says, "Oh, have you ever thought about doing like a White Scars army?" I think I might just hit them.
Mhm.
I wouldn't be worried. I'm
Yeah.
an absolute wimp. So if I feel it, but still, I'll be like, yeah.
Makes you appreciate that people who actually do White Scars armies.
It's when they do them. There's the guy I kept on quoting when I was doing it on stream, because I was doing a lot of work on him on stream. There's a guy called Mezgeik, who is a Australian YouTuber. Fantastic. He's so funny and he's such a good painter. He'd taken a Primaris and he'd resculpted the power sword sheath so that it was a katana.
Wow.
Ooh.
And he'd painted a free-handed dragon on the side of it. I'm like, I can't do lightning bolts. Shut up. And he'd resculpted the head, so he had like the Genghis Khan ponytail. He'd done a whole lot of armor chipping, and he just mean like I was quite proud of what I did. He did it way better.
Hmm.
And he did. It was like at no point was like, now this is the hard bit. It was like, this is just the next bit. This is kind of easy.
He's probably painted a million of them as well.
He
You've
has,
got to think
and
about
the
that.
guys.
This is your first White Scar ever.
Yeah, the Australian painting scene is, I think, because of how expensive Warhammer is, they kind of have a trial by fire.
Hmm.
Each and every miniature is that much more expensive to them than it is to us.
Yeah.
And obviously, you've got the humidity issues in Australia for painting, so it's actually physically harder to paint. So the really top tier Australian painters are really top tier. I've personally found. So I'm not comparing myself to him,
Mhm.
but I definitely appreciate the skill from people like him, and people who do things like Imperial Fists insanely well. I also did one of those as well.
Yes, yeah. You've done quite a few Marines, haven't you? Then
I have.
But
Yeah, I've been.
White Scars being your least
Primaris have
favourite.
definitely broken my Marine phobia. I
Yeah.
still don't think I could paint an old. What they call the old ones called Firstborn.
I've got a Horus Heresy White Scar miniature here. If you fancy that.
Mhm.
But at no point can I be in possession of miniature, otherwise it breaches my rule about new units.
Yeah.
So this is
Are
always
you
Tom.
are you
You
going
come
to
by
go
and
through?
stay at my house?
Are you going to go through and do one of every chapter?
I might do. I might do. I mean, I think I'd like to try.
Catch them all, John. Got to catch them all.
I have this image of me throwing Primaris at people.
There's hundreds of chaplains now.
Hundreds of chapters.
Practice.
You could do them all as lieutenants.
Yes.
We do need more of those. There's not enough, I think, in the hobby as a whole.
No,
Definitely not.
you're right. Whose thought of theirs next?
Yeah, who's next out of you two? Because I've done mine. Mine was my favourite. Mine was my favourite and the hardest. It was the Exorcist. So it's Kitbash or Vulkan. What was your hardest or most difficult to paint? I mean, you might not have had one.
I going to sound really arrogant right now. I don't find it that difficult to paint miniatures.
Oh.
The only thing I find difficult about painting
Thug life
is getting the time to paint them.
Okay.
So, which is why I'm trying
to paint right now.
I'm trying to paint her with all of the difficult things. So I'm going to try and correctly blend the skin. I'm going to try and correctly do non-metal metal. I'm going to try and push everything. Like I can base layer, edge highlight things. I can shade stuff using washes. I can shade stuff more or less with a darker color and a lighter color. I can panel line things. Not the best at any of those things by all means, but I can do them all. So it's just more of a matter of doing it and practicing and becoming better at it. I've not pushed the envelope on too many things because I kind of let the build do the talking most of the time and try and blanch it through with this guy properly. Oh, I'll tell you what. Painting my Warcry miniatures, who not all of them are white,
Okay.
and not being accidentally racist on stream.
That
and
needs some
trying to
context.
explain-
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we'll have an image to clear this up.
Yeah.
I have, well, because of the Warcry lot, I've got some iron golems, and
Oh yeah.
there are a lot of armor and then skin. Yeah, they're semi-naked people with bits of armor on. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's go into the battle mostly naked. Whatever, that's their choice. They want to do it. Whatever.
That's how
They're
I do
still
it.
hard as nails anyway, right?
Every
Mm.
Sunday.
So you've got your standard. You've got like, that's definitely a barbarian because he's a big guy. Yeah, so the barbarian's going to be white because he's a barbarian. But they're also in the what is it, 8 ways or something, 8 points.
8 points. Yeah.
So it's a bit warm there. So he's going to have a bit of a tan or grime on him. Fine, I can do dirty white people. Ogres, they're kind of like slightly tan because they're sort of in the Cathay region and they come over, so they're kind of semi-Mongolian big ogre-y thing.
Yeah.
Kind of that color skin. That's fine, can do that. It's kind of a tan color, whatever. But they didn't want to do them all. There was a dwarf as well, so I did him as a dark dwarf. Same kind of very pale skin, very
Yeah.
dirty. But that's kind of like Chaos Dwarves, so that kind of color. I know that. But then loads of just humans.
Yeah.
But this is the 8 points. It's where from all corners of the realms,
Yeah. It's the meeting.
chaos brings everyone here.
Yeah.
So they're not all gonna be a bunch of white guys, are they?
Yeah.
Nope.
So
Right,
painting different skin tones.
Yeah.
And doing them in a way that doesn't come across as gaudy or comical.
Mm, yeah.
You know, like I've tried to keep it as natural looking as possible, and I found that difficult in picking the correct colors to choose because I've got a vast array of colors thanks to Green Skull, but I don't have a dark skin tone palette here.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, so I've had to pick a specific brown color or black color or whatever and mix them all together in order to get the correct shade band to do it. And
Yeah.
it took a few attempts. I did some different ones, but I think I successfully did it in a way that made it look more natural than not. But that was quite challenging, sort of doing it, because not only was I doing it, I was doing it while
nerve-wracking,
streaming
isn't
as well. So I had the added pressure of must get this right and not sound like I'm being some sort of ass white guy who knows nothing of race, because that's not the case. I know something. So yeah, that was a challenge.
Yeah, that's that.
Tough. Skin tones.
I
really
tried to
tough.
do that with a few of my my Azure Knights because the way I kind of envisaged the chapter is that they would go from Imperial backworld to Imperial backworld, and they would come into contact with human beings, and then say, you know, which one of you's worthy, and that's it. They wouldn't pick anyone based on anything, as they shouldn't. But I know what Christian means by there's this kind of this pressure that if you got it wrong, that the backlash is going to be that much more severe.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that has nothing to do with the subject that you're painting, or the I think it's more the internet's reaction to those things.
Yeah.
I've deliberately gone out and bought a beautiful sculpt from a game called Aristea.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
easy.
It's really cool.
And it's basically the same world as Infinity, which is a game of covert espionage and cloak and dagger stuff. But Aristea is basically the galaxy's top entertainment show, and it's like a Blood Bowl kind of death arena
Sporting event sort of thing.
Yeah, sporting event.
It's like running
there
man,
is- Yeah, it's played on hex tiles and you have to like gear up the crowd and stuff. But there's a character out of that, and I don't know his name. I'm really sorry. I did pick this guy based on his sculpt, not on his name. But he's the only word I can use is a beautiful Indian guy with this flowing white suit and a rapier. And I thought, I want that as a challenge. I want that miniature because he is cool as. And I think it's important for us in this particular, not climate, just important in the world that we live in, to make sure that everyone knows that they're wanted in this hobby. That there's not. This isn't for one person.
Well, the hobby is inclusive, isn't it?
It is. I think the problems that we've had, and GW covered this pretty well, haven't been out of malice, but they are there. You look back at some old skin tone tutorials, and it's how to paint a white guy.
Yeah.
That's not skin tone. That's how to paint Caucasian or pale skin, light skin.
Well, Cadian flesh tone, as they call it.
Exactly. And I would imagine, and I'm sure GW would agree, that not all Cadians were just one color. They would have been from all human walks of life. And that's a mistake, and they need to correct that. I'm sure they will. But I think at the same time, there's that kind of fear that if you shoehorn a miniature into, look, I'm being inclusive, then the backlash you might get might be so much worse than just keeping to the norm, which is worse. So I know what you mean.
Hello, we went on quite a ramble there, but we'll go.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
So yeah, go on, Tom. What was your hardest or most difficult? And then we'll get into the last question.
I was thinking, I think it's going to be one of the Kings of War miniatures.
Okay.
I painted 40 foot soldiers, and the unit of 20 like men-at-arms. I had the silly idea of freehanding each of the shields.
Oh
yeah. Which look great now. Yeah.
I'm like, I did that.
Yeah, you did that.
But at the time, it took about like a week of painting 3 hours a day.
Yeah.
It took a long time because you stop practicing it and getting good at it. But that was a challenge. But I think the most difficult model that I painted, a single model, was probably the damsel.
Lady of the Lake.
The Lady of the Lake. Because I ended up painting Esmeralda from Disney. From, The Hunchback of Notre Dame. When I look at it now, I'm like, that's Esmeralda.
Yeah.
I didn't even realise I was doing it.
I'll get a comparison up for you.
I'll show you a picture. But yeah, really difficult model. I did non-metallic metal on the gold, so I did like a bright gold. She's got some freehand on her. I tried like a technique which is like building up stipples, like
a lot of work went into it.
I've never tried stippling. I really need to give that a go.
But it makes like cloth look really full of texture. So that was a really hard challenge for me personally, and I wanted to do it justice. But it's one of those models where you keep you discover that you look back at the face and I missed that bit. Oh, I think she looks a bit too I spaced the eyes out a bit too much.
Yeah.
The eyes back in a bit. You know what I mean? There was a lot of back in too, especially on the flesh. The non-metallic metal bits came together nicely. They came together pretty quick, but it was the flesh tone, like what Christian's saying there, on her face particularly, because it's a very bright. It's not like when you look at Games Workshop model where it's got for frown you get all of
the furrows and
defined ridges that stick out. On her it was a lot more flat detail, so it had to paint in the detail a bit more, and it was hard. That definitely the damsel.
Yeah, no, I like it. You free-handed a banner for me as well for my Terminator. Yeah. A pleasure for me as well, because I would not have done it as good as you.
Yeah. I got all that practice.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
That was a lot of fun. Those Targaryen Tigerius was more. I think Tigerius's banner was more difficult than the Terminator's banner.
Yeah, it's a shorter banner, isn't it? And it's already got a lot of detail, like pre-molded in as well.
It wasn't really freehand in it.
It was more of a. There was a little bit, wasn't there, in the book? Yeah.
There's a little bit, but that was harder than the one that had more freehand on.
Yeah, strange.
I don't know how that works, but
I sometimes find
like
that when it just got like loads of detail and stuff that's like kind of obviously there, like they're sometimes easier than the ones that have got like huge. That's why Space Marines have always been a bugbear for me, because they've got these big voids of space. It's like, well, what do you paint here? And
That's
I know
really
what you mean by
hard
the.
on Space Marines.
Okay, yeah. With like the large flat shoulder panel lines and
because that's the one of the things I've kind of discovered that I have a problem with is highlight placements. Like what highlight do I put where? I can do the highlight, I can do the colors, I can do the shading, and I can do the blending, but actually getting the direction of light and where the light is actually hitting, I struggle with that, and that's because I've always done miniatures like this German chap here. Obviously, I can pick where the light's coming from, but then he's got loads of soft fabrics and he's got like skin tone, which doesn't light in the same way. So I think I've always actually subconsciously done that as a cop out. And with this guy here, I've actually been forced to say, well, actually, he's metal. The light's going to bounce off him like a mother. And I found finding the right forum to kind of post your miniature on and get feedback. I've got some amazing feedback from the Infinity UK Facebook group. And that's why I've been touching him up today, because they've given me some really good feedback, and I've gone back and, like Tom was saying, you find that miniature that you really want to push forward, and you do find yourself going back and touching up that little bit there and a little bit there, and
you'll notice stuff, won't you?
Yeah,
and like especially when you got feedback like that.
Cool. Well, I'm conscious of time, so we're going to just speed through the last bit and then wrap this mother up. So the last thing we wanted to talk about on the podcast today was obviously 3 months left of the year. We're start of October now. What are you most excited for the rest of the year? Me personally, being a Space Marine player, is my new codex, which goes up for pre-order this weekend. So that is a must-buy for me. I will then put the other codex to one side with it, the codex from 8th. So this will be 3rd codex in a couple of years, but there's a lot of exciting changes in there. To kind of pair with that, I really want to get my Terminators painted up as well, because they're getting that additional wound. And obviously some of the weapons are changing out and stuff like that. So yeah, fresh codex, hopefully a bit of balance in that codex as well. I've seen some leaks today which I feel are good. Some of the Warhammer community stuff that they've kind of teased around core, and your captain doesn't need to babysit 2 tanks at the back of the field, or well, he can, but he just won't be giving them rerolls. So I think there's a lot of good changes, hopefully a lot of balance, which will hopefully tide Space Marines over till everybody else kind of gets their 9th edition codex.
The inevitable power creep.
Yeah, because you don't want to be that guy who turns up to, obviously not the gaming hall right now, but a place where you go play games and goes, oh, you brought Space Marines. I don't really want to play Space Marines because I'm just going to get shot off the table, or it's going to end after turn 1. You don't want to be that guy, but unfortunately that's just where we are. So I'm really looking forward to kind of embracing those changes.
Yeah.
And that's
things, like you say, they're going to come with when everyone else gets a codex that kind of creeps it back.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to be fun. I think that's going to be fun for Space Marine players.
Yeah.
Play, oh yeah, I get this +1 here, but you guys also get blah blah blah.
Hmm.
And that's I think
I don't know.
a good thing.
On that topic, I played Space Marines in 7th, I played Space Marines in 8th, and now 9th. On that, like the beginning of 8th,
yeah,
Space Marines were just really.
They were, yeah.
Like Blood Angels. Some Ultramarines listed okay, and it felt more like you were playing a challenge. And
yeah.
when you win your game, you feel like you
won, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you outplayed them, because pound for pound they weren't as good as, let's say Eldar. That there's a lot of Eldar.
Yeah.
Well, this last Space Marine Codex, the one before that was good. Like the first Space Marine Codex that came out, it was okay. The second one that came out, we were stomping.
Yeah.
It just changed everything.
As a Spaceballs player, I have to say that I never experienced any of that at all. Because it was we were always, because of the way the codexes were arranged, we were constantly always on the back foot.
Yeah. On the back paw.
Yeah, on the back paw. So when they went, oh look, here's a load of new Space Marine units. It's like, oh cool, do we get to? No, you don't. It doesn't have spatial keyword. Yeah, but it's got Space Marines. No, you can't use them.
Yeah,
Space Marines can use them. Adeptus Astartes. Yeah, you're not Adeptus Astartes. But it says I'm Adeptus Astartes on there. Yeah, but you're Spaceballs. Well,
yeah,
make any sense.
but you're not.
That keyword's not the same Adeptus Astartes keyword. All right, now you're just talking nonsense.
Cue the salt.
Oh, no, it's technically not.
You're more wolf than the Astartes.
Which is why I am in agreement with Warhammer Rose there about the new codex coming out, because the new codex is everybody's codex.
Yeah.
And then everyone who is non-compliant gets a supplement on top. But everyone gets a supplement. So it's something I've been harping on about for ages, because I remember I think 3rd edition when I played was like that. You had a Space Marines codex and you had a Spaceball codex. It might have been 2nd. But the codex was a supplement, and it was like a little thin one that had just
your stuff,
your versions of those units. So what I'm expecting is it to be like, there it goes, open it up and it says, replace all instances of Devastator with Long Fangs. Right. Replace all instances of Intercessor with Grey Hunter. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
This keyword to that unit, this keyword to that unit, and then the units are exactly the same. But then when someone goes, I want to use these Space Wolf stratagems, you're not then going, let's have a look at the board. Right. Chuck all them away, because all of these are Primaris, and none of those stratagem cards are with the Primaris, because they're not Blood Claws, they're not Grey Hunters, they're not Long Fangs. They're a support squad, and they're a assault squad.
Yeah.
Like, they're not. It's like they just went, here's a load of new units, but to hell with the old way of doing things, because we're changing it in a few months anyway.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you're a bit salty. But
yeah, a little bit. Ragnar is an absolute beast.
Yes.
The 6-inch heroic intervention, which is now changing, but the whole army gets heroic intervention, but that doesn't matter anymore, because charging and attacking, the combat phase is different. So it doesn't matter if you've heroically intervened with everybody, everyone will die anyway, because you're not it's not your turn. Anyway, but like,
still salty. That's what we're taking it. You were salty.
I very much like all of the new units that the Primaris have, and they do fit Space Wolves if you think of them slightly differently than everybody seems to think they are and moan about it. New Codex is I'm looking forward to, because that should be fun. Admech, my squats, are pretty shit hot anyway at the moment. They had a bunch of updates to their Psychic Awakening. I am going to look forward to playing them more.
But you've not got any new units, have you?
I got some Breaches, and I've got no. I haven't got I haven't got the Sulphur Hounds or the Flying Guys yet. I've got
the Da Vinci flying dudes.
I've definitely got the plans on how to build them. Dwarves with jetpacks, and wild boars.
What about the Carcarajons with the little?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm going to get, the blimpy guys, but instead of the blimps, I'm going to put jetpacks, because it's 40k in it.
So that's an exciting
take the wingy bits off. So yeah, more projects. The squats are my project army. The Space Wolves are the ones I will probably end up playing the most, though, because
I love it.
I just want Ragnar to appear with 10 attacks, exploding 4s twice, and exploding 6s, and do 35 attacks in one round of combat from one guy. So that's what I'm looking for. That kind of nonsense. Well, especially, has anyone got Thousand Suns?
No.
Ben has, hasn't he? I'll play it. And I get another exploding 4s as well.
I'll jump on.
It's like 2 exploding 4s and an exploding 6.
Filth.
But for miniatures, though, so this is sort of game mechanics that you're looking forward to. Actually, what was the question?
So, just most excited for me, it was the Codex, and you kind of were like
Codex as well for mine as well. is what I'm trying to say.
2 for Codex.
Read. I agree. Codex.
Too long, didn't listen. Guys, who do you want to kick off next?
Come on, Tom.
This guy.
And who dis? New miniature who dis?
I was excited for this guy for about 3 months.
Okay.
He is the esoteric investigator for the Doctors of Carnivale.
Right, okay.
And he's such a cool model. He's like, I'll have to send a picture, whatever.
Yeah.
He's like teleporting through a wall.
Okay, yeah. I can kind of just get that, yeah.
It's all sculpted in. He's like this guy. He's a really powerful
Oh,
mage.
okay.
in the
I thought he
game.
was stepping over it.
He's like
yeah.
stepping through it. He allows your faction to like move through terrain.
Nice.
And I just saw that sculpt, and that's when I decided I wanted to play Carnivale and try it out. I
Nice.
saw that sculpt, and I was just like, oh, I want to paint that. It looks sick. So I've got it now.
Yeah. He's got to paint it now.
So I need to figure out something else. Well, okay, I'll look forward to painting him.
There we go.
All right, he'll be done by Christmas, guys.
2020.
2020. Challenge accepted. Although I have just dropped one of the small arms.
Oh dear.
It's a white arm, tiny little thing, on my white carpet. So I'm gonna have to have a good look at that.
That's gone. It's gone.
That has disappeared into the Chaos's 2-inch off the floor portal. It's in the warp somewhere
Yeah.
So this little nurse.
now.
Oh god.
Sweet. Green.
Have a sniff around there.
Yeah. Green Skull. Tell us.
I think I am. The thing I'm excited for the rest of this year.
Hmm.
I put a pre-order in for the limited edition set of Pandora for Malifaux. So they've resculpted.
Is this more miniatures you're buying?
I bought.
Oh.
That's what he's waiting for.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yes. There we go.
I put that order in a couple months ago. Honest. And basically, Pandora was the first ever crew I painted for Malifaux. And Pandora, like her namesake, carries a box around, and inside that box are her sorrows, these horrific, ghostly, poltergeisty apparitions. And I never actually ended up playing her. She's a very board control-y kind of character, and I suck at board control. But they re-released her crew as a Halloween style. So Pandora is this witch on a broomstick.
Mhm.
And, the sorrows are like Jack Skellingtons.
Nice.
And I don't think there's loads of pumpkin themes and stuff like that. So I'm really excited for that. Hopefully I get that around now, so I can paint that for Halloween. And for next year, I'm looking forward to getting more competitions and playing more Infinity. I think.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh yeah. If
Squidzilla
we
stuff, more Squidzilla stuff.
Yeah. Definitely.
get out of the house, then I need to get my Yujing on the table and play some Infinity.
Did you paint those in the end?
Yeah. I haven't done the bases.
It's another skirmish
that's
game,
right.
guys. If you Infinity the game, we have not convinced Warhammer Rose to play it yet. But
Oh,
Hmm. It's all D20s and stuff, isn't it?
2 factions. John's got a faction or 2. Christian's now
No.
got Yujing.
No, I don't have a faction or 2. I have like
No.
4.
So you could lend one to Warhammer Rose then.
Yeah, I could lend you 3.
I have Chinese fighting robot men.
I've gone for the combined
technically,
army. He's
I
got
have
the aliens.
3. I have 3 fighting forces, but I have miniatures from the faction because
If-
I bought them and painted them.
If you start looking at that range, you just get lost because they're so beautiful. There's loads of
They're
beautiful
so
sculpts.
Yeah.
And if you like
And then you
anime
watch
style,
Hell Heraldo's do them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
really cool.
Well, thanks everybody. So that's been episode 1. We did it.
Yeah.
We did it, guys. We did it. So yeah. Thanks.
Tom kind of did it for bits.
Yeah. We all did it as a collective.
God.
You were here for most of it. So yeah, obviously, thanks to everyone. Obviously, catch us on Twitch, YouTube, where you already are. So please like, subscribe, comment. Let us know what you think. Do you like this? Hopefully you do. Is there anything else you'd like to see from us in the future? Let us know. We did talk about Patreon. There's lots of good stuff going on in there. So yeah, thanks everyone. Yeah, stay safe. Make sure you paint your backlog. If you don't buy more miniatures. Watch us instead and paint together.
Yeah.
Thanks everyone.
Cheers.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.